to my channel, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Prime Math Zoom. The focus of this lesson will be on elapsed time. So let's dive right in. Do you know what elapsed time is? This means time that has passed. It also means the time between intervals. For example, how much time has passed since I woke up to when I took a bath? Or how many hours and minutes are between the time I ate breakfast and the time I ate lunch? Now, let us link this concept to a real life situation. Here goes. How long did I spend at the market if I got there at 2 p.m. and left at 4 p.m.? Now, there are different ways that we could represent this to find out how long I spent at the market. However, in this lesson, we are going to focus on using the number line and also to calculate time on the clock face. So here is our number line. And you would notice that on our number line, we have end points, beginning points, and we have end points. So the beginning point would be the early time, which is 2 p.m. and the end time would be 4 p.m. Now, as you would have noticed, is both times are on the hour. So we know that from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. there are some other hours in between. So we can go ahead and fill in the other hours. So we have 2 p.m., then 3 p.m., then 4 p.m. Now, we know that from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., it is 1 hour. And from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., it is another 1 hour. So right here, we can say from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., it is 2 hours. So there are 2 hours between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Now let's look at this clock face. This clock face is showing 2 o'clock, right? So 2 o'clock is represented on this clock face. And given that we know that time is on the hour, both early time and the late time, which is the same as the beginning time and the end time, are on the hour. So we know that we can just add 1 more hour to 2 o'clock. So let's think about this minute hand going around the clock face once to create a hour. And when that happens, we get 3 o'clock. So 1 hour plus 2 o'clock gives us 3 o'clock. But we're still not yet at the end time. So we need to add some more hours. So let's add 1 more hour here. When we add this 1 hour to 3 o'clock, we are now at 4 o'clock. So now we know that there are 1 hour, 2 hours between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. So this will say that I spent 2 hours at the market. Let's connect it to another real life situation. If I started to prepare breakfast at 6:30 a.m. and finished at 8 a.m., how long did I take? Well, if you look at the beginning time, it's half past the hour, but the end time is still on the hour. So let us see if we can create our number line from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. So here we have 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. But 30 minutes mean half past the hour. So now we have to break each hour in half. So from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., halfway would be 6:30 a.m. And from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., halfway would be 7:30 a.m. So with the hours broken in half, we are able to figure out how long I took to prepare the breakfast. Now, since we are talking about, we started at 6:30 a.m., that's where we're going to start on the number line. and we are going to use half-hour intervals. From 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m., there are 30 minutes. From 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., there are 30 more minutes. And from 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m., there are 30 more minutes. Now, here we know that 30 minutes and 30 minutes is also equal to 1 hour, because 1 hour is 60 minutes. So if we have from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. giving us 1 hour, then we know that this other 30 minutes would mean that from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. would be 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now let's check it on the clock face. So here we have a clock face showing a time. What time is that? 6:30 or 6:30. So 6:30 is here on the clock. And remember, we're going to use half-hour intervals because our early time is in half hour and our late time is on the hour. So from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. is 30 minutes. So here we have our 30 minutes. From 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., it's another 30 minutes. So we have 30 minutes plus 30 minutes to give us 60 minutes, which is the same as 1 hour. However, we're not yet at the end time, 8 a.m. So let's go on another clock. And on this clock, we have 7:30 a.m., which we ended at, and we know half hour more will bring it to 8 a.m. So here we have that 30 minutes plus the 60 minutes we had before to give us a total of 90 minutes. And 90 minutes is the same as 1 hour and 30 minutes. So I took 1 hour and 30 minutes to prepare breakfast. Here is another real-life situation where elapsed time can be applied. Church service started at 9:15 a.m. and ended at 11 a.m. How long did the service last? First, let us look at the early time and the late time. The early time is 9:15 a.m. Is that on the hour? Is that half past the hour? Is that quarter past the hour? Or is it quarter to the hour? Right, 15 minutes indicates quarter past the hour. And it ended at 11 a.m., which is on the hour. So let us start our number line. Let's start our number line with on the hour time. So from minutes, 9:15 falls somewhere in between here. But before we go there, let's break these hours in half hours. So we have half hour period, 9 a.m., then 9:30 a.m., then 10 a.m., then 10:30 a.m., and then 11 a.m. Then what we're going to do now, we're going to break these time into quarter hours. So 9:15 a.m. is added, 9:45, 10:15, 10:45. Between 9:15, because it's the early time, we're starting at 9:15 to 9:30 a.m. There are 15 minutes. And then 9:30 a.m. to 9:45 a.m., 15 more minutes. And 15 more minutes from 9:45 a.m. to 10 a.m. 15 more minutes from 10 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. 15 more minutes from 10:15 to 10:30 a.m. 15 more minutes from 10:30 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. and 15 more minutes from 10:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. Now we are at the late time, which is the end point of our number line. Now, we know that 2 15 minutes will give us 30 minutes. So here we're going to group our 15 minutes in 30 minutes. Right, so we have from 9:15 to 9:45 is 30 minutes. From 9:45 to 10:15 is another 30 minutes. From 10:15 to 10:45 is another 30 minutes. But there is one 15 minutes that is left out because there is no other 15 minutes to make it 30 minutes. We also know that by looking at our number line, 30 minutes and this other 30 minutes could also give us something else, and that would be 1 hour. So we can look at this to say now from 9:15 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. is 1 hour. From 10:15 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. is 30 minutes. So here we have 1 hour, 30 minutes. And then we have 15 more minutes. So since we have 30 minutes and 15 minutes, we can add those two. When we add 30 minutes plus 15 minutes, what do we get? Go ahead and work it out. Right, we get 45 minutes. So here we can say that the service lasts for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Now let's check this out using the clock face. So now this is the clock face. And on the clock face, do you see what time it is showing? Yes, it is showing 9:15. Note that the hour hand is a little bit past 9 and the minute hand is on 3. Now, remember now that we're working with 15 minutes interval. So here we are going to count from 9:15 in a 15 minutes interval. So here we have 15 minutes, another 15 minutes, another 15 minutes. Now, we're still not yet at 11 a.m. So we have the time now, because when we would have done 1, 2, 3, 15 minutes, we end up here at 10 o'clock. So from 10 o'clock, we have another 15 minutes, another 15 minutes, all the way around, another 15 minutes, another 15 minutes. And by now, 15 minutes would give us 1 hour, and that 1 hour after 10 o'clock is 11 o'clock. So what we can do is, we know that for this clock, we have a complete revolution. We have 15 minutes going all the way around. So we know that this clock here is showing 1 hour. Well, this clock is not showing 4:50 minutes like this one. It is showing 3 instead. So we can count by 15 to see how many minutes are presented on this clock. 15 minutes plus 15 minutes plus 15 minutes gives us 45 minutes. So we have 1 hour and 45 minutes. So this here would show us that the church service lasted 1 hour and 45 minutes. Now, while I have just shown you 2 ways, you can always select the one that is easier to you or you understand better. Now let's recap. When finding how much time has passed, we need to add up all the minutes or hours from the earlier time to the later time. Also, we can use a number line or a clock face. Okay, so now it's time for you to try one on your own using any of those strategies that we went through before. William is traveling from St. Catherine to Kingston. He leaves St. Catherine at 8:30 a.m. and arrives in Kingston at 11 a.m. How long did he travel for? Leave your answers in the comment. Now remember to look at the early time and the late time before start working your question. Thank you for exploring with me in this lesson. Please like, share, and subscribe. And also don't forget to leave your answers in the comment section. See you next time.